Welcome back to the You Can Podcast, where stories create connections, connections create perspectives, and that's what drives a brand. Today we have a special guest, and it's our first time doing virtually. And we have a friend of my cousin O, whose name is Boris. What's up, Boris?
How's it going, guys? Yo, thank you very much for having me.
No
Really
problem,
appreciate
man.
it.
Yeah,
Of course.
definitely, man. We're excited to have you on the podcast today. And most importantly, just to hear your story and what you got to offer and who you are.
Oh,
So we're excited here, man.
all right, it's awesome, man.
What's up,
Appreciate
man?
it.
How you doing? What's going on?
Um, Doing okay. Not gonna lie, it's been a pretty intensive last couple months, right? And we'll get into the story. Oh, sorry about that. If you hear
It's
the doggies in
it's
the
all good.
background,
It's all
you already
good.
know how it goes, right? But yeah, no, it's been an interesting and intensive last couple of months where at the age that I'm at now, you know, Orlando can tell you, right? Like I like difficult things in a certain way because I get bored, man. I get bored, and when I get bored, my mind just goes everywhere.
Mm.
So if I have a task to do and there's a purpose with it, I'm going crazy, right? So yeah, it's just been a couple days. So
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, I know you personally for a couple of years. We've worked together um,
yeah,
at a company for a couple of years as well, and then we transitioned. The pandemic happened, and I think a lot of things changed for both of us. We got, I think we both got into like a place where we kind of discovered ourselves, uh,
right,
rediscovered ourselves again.
yeah.
So I think, but um, before all that, I kind of want to, let the audience know that we are going with this virtual call. I'm a little bit remote. I'm not in New York right now. Ronald is in New York, but Boris is located in. Is it okay? Can I say
Oh yeah, that's cool, bro. Yo,
Boris is
we live
located.
our life. Let's go.
Boris relocated, and probably, he'll probably tell us a little bit about this. He relocated to Arizona, so we can't physically be together today. But hopefully in the future, maybe we can do a physical podcast together. But for today, we're doing a virtual podcast
Yeah,
to
no,
introduce
that
Boris.
would be great. That would be awesome. So again, thank you very much for the opportunity to even, tell you my story, but more than anything, and you'll see that my story really isn't my story,
mm.
right? And it's what's driven me to do what I'm still doing right now, So yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
man. So like I was saying before, I've known you for a while now, B, and I think I think we kind of have almost a similar story, but besides that,
Yeah.
you are different in various ways from everybody that I think that I know, right? I've been able to grow. Me and you have like a different type of relationship when it comes to like knowing who we are and understanding like how people like if I have a friend or if I know anybody,
Yeah.
I know so much about them, right? And I know how they think and how they carry themselves, right? But with you, it's on a different level, you know. But we could get into that later. So for right now, let's give the audience a little bit more of a backstory of who you are from like childhood and kind of how you became the person that you are into like the person that I basically met, right? So
Okay.
yeah, so like let's not go into too much detail of who you are now. Let's like
The Cliff
backtrack
Notes,
it.
I guess, right? The Cliff Notes,
Mm.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
The
yeah,
humble
when
beginnings.
right, the humble beginnings. Right? So I was born and raised in California. No, I'm kidding, bro. Um, so pretty much, I was born in the Bronx, right? My parents came from El Salvador, had me, and I grew up in that area like that, but we ended up moving around. We went to Brooklyn, Queens, and ended up in Long Island, right? So went to Wyandanch High School. Shout out to Wyandanch, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Shout out to Wyandanch. But Sorry guys, I'm just trying to like recap everything, and like I said, it's been a day too.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Don't
but
worry.
Nah, it's all
I'm
good,
trying to
man.
give
There's
you
no
the
rush.
best part of the stories. Went to high school thinking life was like a certain way,
Mm.
right? And with that, I met certain people that I considered my friends, right? And outside of that, I never could pay attention to anybody else. And it was something that I had to grow up with, right? So I understood that I had a limitation when it came to being social with people, right? I could only like remember three friends at a time for some reason, right? And with that, it's like I'm keeping up with this person on this, with that, boom, boom, boom. And outside of that, I still had friends, other, people that I associated with, but that started to fall through a lot, right? And with that, I saw that that was a drawback or a negative that I had for myself, right? And having the parents that I had, Orlando can tell you it's same background, right? We don't come, I don't like to say we don't come from much because we come from a lot.
Mm.
Our parents, maybe they didn't have anything in the bank, but they
Mm.
had everything to be here and, make sure we were good. And so that's everything, right? But, with that, we, we didn't learn certain things growing up,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
I say this all
And
the time. Yeah.
yeah, I'm sorry, say it again, you broke up.
I say that all the time. Like we didn't grow up with certain things like to that gave us an advantage in like what
Right.
we are now. We kind of had to learn all these things and yeah, those secrets, right? Those advantages that everybody else kind of has. It's like holy shit, it's a new
Right,
world.
right. Exactly, that is, growing up without that, it's a disadvantage, right? Definitely a disadvantage because, you know, now being the adult that I am,
Mm.
I have so many interests, so many things that drive me. If I was pushed as a child in that way, I feel like I would have went a certain direction.
So, so not to cut you
But
off. So not to
oh
cut
no,
you
no,
off.
go ahead.
So
Go ahead.
when you were that age, let's say in high school, what was
Yeah.
the mindset? Like what did you think you wanted to do, and what were they pushing you to do? I guess maybe some people or
So in that way, no one was pushing me to do anything but
okay.
my parents and wanting me to have a good job, right?
Hmm.
But me trying to give you that backstory is to tell you that I pretty much always felt different,
Hmm.
right? And those three friends that I always kept understood me the most, right? And fortunately, Orlando has been one of those friends for me. And that's why I
Hmm.
appreciate that guy very much. You don't even know, Ronald.
Hmm.
Good guy, man. But well, we can get into that later on too. But it's that I allowed myself to let those three people really understand where I come from or where I'm coming from.
Hmm.
And it's always been, we're gonna get into it. I'm sorry, it's gonna sound crazy, but
Nah,
I've
go for
always
it,
wanted
man.
to go. Always wanted to go to space, man,
Okay.
and that drove me to literally the point where I'm at now. Right? We can get into it, but
Hmm.
it's I'm telling you, Ronald, we're just meeting, but I'm not dying until I go to space, bro.
Hey,
I'm gonna make that shit
that's
happen,
a
bro.
good
Even
goal,
though
man. I like that.
like that, yeah,
That's a good
yeah.
motivation
So
right there. Mm.
right, so you know, my backstory, I can go on with stories forever, man. But it's really I'll get to the point when I met Orlando.
Mm.
I met Orlando when I had already finished college, right? And I went to school for architecture. I went to NYT in the city, and that changed my whole mindset on everything too, right? Like even thinking about how to draw something. Now it's like thinking a certain way where now it was so complicated when you were younger and now it's you understand it better, it's an easy process. That was awesome, right? So in that mindset is when I met Orlando. And being in that environment at work, right? We were working. I can say this, okay?
Yeah, I don't
I
care,
don't
bro.
want. I don't want to say your personal shit out there. You know what I mean?
Nah, to me, I could care less, right?
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We worked for an audiovisual firm
Mhm.
together.
Mhm.
Orlando was a designer, and so was I, pretty much, right? And with that, I can say we built a relationship where the crazy ideas that I thought were crazy, he found a way to level them out for me,
Mhm.
right? And that's just how I grew with being able to do things further. Does that make sense,
Mhm.
right? Yeah.
What made you think like that though? Like what were the things that made you like okay, like I want to do this or I want to do that? Like what was sparking in your mind or what were you like looking at that made you think like that?
Um, Mostly just, I mean, it's always that like you can't do it,
Mm.
and
Fact.
no, I'm not the biggest into zodiac stuff, but I'm a Scorpio, so I
Okay.
know I got that Scorpio energy. So if you tell me I'm not gonna do something, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
I'm also from New York too, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna do that shit regardless.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's just that yeah. Um,
I think
that's,
I think that a lot of our interest piqued us because we
yeah,
were at a point where like we were both trying to figure out what else we could be, right?
right,
We have a lot of ambition, I think, me and you. We don't like to settle for less. Obviously, knowledge and knowing how to do things is a
yeah,
factor too, right? So it's like having those two elements of like knowledge and I guess practice of doing something makes
right,
kind of like a perfection of like, all right, now you kind of know how that path is. So I think we both kind of learning how to work together, being in that environment, taught us a lot of ways to think outside the box, really,
yeah.
And I
Oh,
think
definitely.
we learned a lot because of the people that we were kind of surrounded in. But
Right,
we also saw that there was also these other type of individuals within that same environment that you would just see and they're like, oh, definitely don't want to be like that person.
right,
So
right.
I think
But
that's what
yeah,
kind of motivated us to kind of like think the same
yeah,
way and have that ambition to not settle for less. Be like, yo, that's easy, right? Like you could easily
right,
settle for that type of lifestyle. But
right,
I think where we were was more of like, we don't want to be like that. What else can we fucking do? And that's where I think me and Boris's interest peaked and our relationship kind of got a little bit thicker and we started like communicating on a different level.
right. That's 100 to the T, and it's even adding to the point, Ron, of what you
Mm.
asked. It's just what even drove me in the sense of even being in that environment with Orlando was the
Mhm.
fact that I saw the things that my dad had to go through, just being Hispanic, right?
Mhm.
Um, just for the, I guess, audience, right? I'm half Salvadoran and half from Nicaragua, right? So my mom's from Nicaragua, dad's Salvadoran. But seeing that, like, how people treated my dad just because of the language barrier,
Mhm.
and especially my mom too. You know what I mean? But it was different. Someone said something to my mom. Don't say that shit in front of me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it was always that, man. Is seeing my dad and growing up more as a man, right? That you start to see that your dad's not just this role model or superhero type of person. They are. They're very much that.
Mhm.
But you still have to see that they're still human, and you have to acknowledge that they have flaws too. You know what I'm saying? And that was the thing that drove me, that for my dad it was hard for him to even see his own flaws,
Mhm.
and that drove him, like, not crazy, but you know what I mean. It gets to you.
Mhm.
So I've always chosen to ride the wave, and I want to live a life where I'm not stressed anymore, you know.
Hmm.
And it's not just me. is the people that are around me. For me to not be stressed, they can't be stressing either. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And just even knowing that I have the resources or the ability to share knowledge, right? Something that I can sit with someone for 30 minutes and, we can go in and I can share things that someone would be like, no, you got to go to college for that and pay 30K. Yeah, you can do it. But it doesn't take much for me to just speak, and if you want to listen, you can listen.
Yo, that's one thing, man. Since I've known Boris, it's like we would talk about things like having tasks to do and like how the fuck are we gonna figure this one out? Boris would be like, I'll have this shit done by the end of the week. It's like how, and we would be like, scratching our asses and heads at the same time, like trying to figure this shit out. But hey, I think it's exactly what Boris is saying. He's always had a way to figure things out and get them done, and even I think an ability that this dude learned really fast and really good, I think, was not not in a bad way, but I think how to play the role without having the correct
Oh, right.
information. It's just like you mind fuck other people pretending like it's just like this is it. This is the information that you need, and
Yes.
yo,
So,
people would eat
oh
it
yeah.
up, and I'm like, yo, this is sick.
No, I love that you bring that up, man, because it is like a superpower that I feel like I eventually learned, right? And I try to teach that same like thinking to people. If you want to listen, listen, you know what I mean? And it makes sense because in any subject, right? You could have been top of your class in high school, and then you went to the best college, and you were valedictorian, and blah blah blah. You may not get the best job. That's not what that means. You know what I mean? And with that assumption, everyone expects those people that have those credentials to play that role, right? So that's why it's hard for people that don't come from that environment, like in Orlando, right? Shout out to Brentwood, B Wood, you
Yep.
feel me? Right? But it's like we don't come from that environment, so not even the people around us can teach us how to even act or interact in those like just even those relationships, right? Work work environment is different than like me and Orlando being friends. Tell me I'm lying, right? When we worked, it was work.
Yeah.
There was days where you got pissed off at me.
Oh
And
yeah,
guess what?
100%.
Guess what, Ronald? Am I okay to use profanity?
Yeah, it's
Bro, there's
Oh,
nothing here
guess
that's
what,
happening.
Ronald? I didn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? I'm like, get mad, bro. Get mad. But you
mm,
know damn right I'm saying something that's pissing you off because it's for a reason. And it was the same way around. He would tell me shit that I didn't like and I get mad, but it's for a reason.
mm,
So it's not pretending to play that role, is still knowing the foundation of certain subjects. You don't need to be a pro at it, but be a
mm.
jack of all trades. Be a jack of all trades. Just learn how to speak the language, and that I'm telling you, it takes you. It takes you. So
That is very true. Yeah, being a jack of all trades, speaking the language of that art, that's an art form. That's not even something school will teach you. That's just an art form that you got to pick up on. And some people could actually like perfect it.
yeah,
And it takes you places, bro. Like it literally takes you places. Like that
Yeah,
art will change your life.
yeah, and I
yeah,
think, and I personally think that you can capture an audience or capture people's attention just by the way you speak and just by the way you're able to, um, I guess, speak on a subject like you're saying.
right.
I think, for an example, just for an example, I'm in PT school, and there may be someone that is maybe smarter than me, and is really book smart, but the way you guys are, and then the way I know, oh, he's a people person, and he knows how I
Mm-hmm.
am, and I'm a people person, and the way
Right.
you're able to connect with individuals is on a different level than the person that maybe is just book smart, and it's just to the
Exactly.
T. I think it makes a difference in any
Yeah.
realm that you are, whether it's in architecture or in my realm of
It
PT.
It's how you interact in the world, period. You know what I mean? It's that that's a great point, because in you're gonna have different professions in whatever way,
Mm,
different calibers, right? But in the real world,
mm,
just because you work somewhere, that does not define you, that does not make you, and it's that I wish was taught at a younger age to kids, that you know you're in school not to get that job.
mm,
You're in school to actually learn, and it's not like people get lost when they fight about like this information is wrong. It should be this. It's not necessarily the actual information that's being taught. It's the way that it's being taught, right? So that's why math seems so hard to everybody, is because they don't understand it. Math is a way to, it's just a different language, right? It's a way to take a big problem and segment it into different compartments and now figure out the little parts, right? Once you figure out the
mm.
little parts, the big problem is like, oh, that's all it fucking was. And that's why, Orlando, I always felt confident to say, no, we'll have that shit done on Friday. And we always did, you
That's
know?
yeah, that's I still suck at math to be honest with you, but but
Right,
it's more of yeah, like I mean work wise in I guess we're still in these worlds together, me and you, Boris, um, talking about it. It's more of like yeah, I've learned the art form of kind of like breaking it up and knowing that it's like completing a task is just breaking it down into sections
right,
until you're done. And then all of a sudden, it's like that's the process for each one, kind of in a way. Depending on how hard it is, it's just you got to look at it a different way, a different angle, and then it just fits
right,
into the puzzle exactly the same way at the end. You get the same end result every time. Um,
right.
so yeah, it's just like a math problem, but you just got to look at it different angle sometimes.
Yeah, facts.
But no, I totally agree with you, Boris. Like in school, I think, and I keep telling O about this, and I'm gonna bring it up eventually when I do my own podcast. But society, and I think the way they teach school is not for real, like the real life for kids. They're just teaching them to like the norms: go to college, go to college, go to college. But are we making better individuals in society, or are we just making byproducts of just learning subjects? Like, you know what I'm saying? Are they becoming better kids for the future, or are they just becoming book smart? So there's a difference to me how society needs to change eventually on that
Yeah,
aspect.
yeah,
But I totally agree with what you're saying as far as like how school teaches and how it gets broken apart. But that's for
yeah.
another day.
100%. Yeah, no, 100%, man. If you want me to add a point to that,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not trying to say that this is the answer, but it's just part of the solution
Mm,
is, you know, the kids are going to do whatever they want to do, because that's what we do, right? We all become adults and we all end up doing something, right? It's the way that we classify it within ourselves, that it's like we did something great or not, right?
mm.
I can be a farmer in Arkansas, right? I think they have farms over there, right? I
Probably,
could be a
maybe
farmer in
they
No.
probably do.
Arkansas,
We got
you
farmers
know what I
everywhere.
mean? Right, you know what I mean? And it's just me and my farm and my animals, and I don't really have the bills that I have here because I chose a different path.
Mm,
So I'm happy. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
And that perspective isn't shown, to anyone. It's not open. It's like, yeah, go to college, go this. You can go to college if you want to go to college.
mm,
You know what I mean? And again, yeah, it's on the teachers to teach you, but it's still on you to take that book and learn it. You
mm,
know what I'm saying? It's sort of like
mm,
you expect the teacher to be like, here, take information, and I'm just like, cool, got it. Let me take
mm.
the test, right? And then you take the test and you aced it, right? You aced everything, and then you get into the real world, Orlando, and
Hmm.
what happened,
It's not the
right?
same
You see
thing.
that test don't mean shit. right? So it's those things that I feel like, you know, education can become better if you learn how to inspire better,
Mm.
right? Learn how to spark people's like
Mhm.
flame or whatever you want to call it. Learn how to spark that, you know. And as long as you spark something, that's where education comes in, because when you have an interest in something, you're going to want to know everything on it. And how
Mhm.
do you know everything on it? Do research.
Yeah.
And how do you do research? Read a book.
The book or look it up.
Right. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it trickles down that way anyways. It's just find the way to do it better, implement it better. You know? That's just how I see it.
So, all right, cool, man. What are you doing with your life now that's, you know, taking you to this that you're putting all these things together and you're making a difference in your life with all these, all these things that you've learned?
Okay. Appreciate that. I created my own company called SVMRII. It stands for Started Viewing My Reality Internally. And, you know, what that means just as a whole for me is that, you know, we all have dreams. We all want to be something, want to become this, but we just keep dreaming it.
Mm.
Right? We dream it. But it's like, stop just dreaming it and keep it here 24/7. You know, make it the reason why you want to do something. You know, it's just like what I told you in the beginning. You know, I want to go to space. That's why I'm doing this as a whole for me. You know, that's me being selfish. But I'm finding ways on how to help others, help me, help them, while we help each other. And that's why I created this company. It's being able to convert a certain energy that you create. You know, this world, they teach you about positivity, but no one teaches you about the negative. You know, we just go through it, and some choose to go to the room, cry, talk to others, with therapy, all that stuff you need to do. But you still need to process that energy, right? It's like when you feel happy, when you feel really good about something, you feel like you can take on the world. But when you feel negative, why do you just feel down? You've never been taught how to flip that switch and take that same energy and output it, right? And if you don't believe what I'm saying, is listen to probably the most, I guess, the most heartening song that you know, your favorite song that gets you right there.
Mm.
Why do you think it gets you right there? Because that person was able to convert their energy from whatever they went through and put it in that track. You know, and it's taking that, right? We hear these songs, these poppy songs, but if you listen to them, it's about like a heartbreak or something all the time,
Typically, yeah. Okay,
Mm.
I
right?
see what you're saying. Yeah,
You get, but
yeah.
we're not taught how to use our energy 100% of the time. And that's what I'm trying to do with everything that I'm learning, right? I went to school for architecture, learned engineering with Orlando, you
Mm.
know, and you know, since a kid, I've always made music with my brothers, and my brother right now, shout out Chills.
Yeah, chills.
Yeah, so bro, he just dropped the video today. Check it out.
Let's go.
But yeah,
I was bumping it.
Swimmy
I
out
was
there,
bumping it.
family, right? But yeah, making music with my brothers, it pretty much led to something else too, right? It showed me how to relate with people on a different level now, right? It wasn't just like we're working together, we're chilling, you know, like, oh, we're smoking, let's just smoke. It's like
Mm.
we're smoking, we're listening to beats. I know you could rap, but never heard you rap. Freestyle right now.
Hmm.
And they're like, no, I ain't freestyling. But then, you know, like they're hearing you listen to them and they're like rapping, but they're scared to do it. You know, you start to show them how to be comfortable, and you start to see why they're good at what they do, right? It's that same thing, you know, show people how to ignite that flame and they're going to show you what they can do, right? So my philosophy is that, there isn't just one Einstein, one Elon Musk, one this. Is There's geniuses everywhere. They just don't have the resources. And that's what I'm trying to do. Is I'm trying to expose to this world that the people that you thought sucked are fucking better than you. You know what I mean? And
Mm,
and, and telling you, Ronald, that's what drives me. So
I like that. I like how you're able to like really. No, no, I really do because personally, I'm a very deep thinker and I think about all
they
these
say,
things about how people work and how people's mind work and how
yeah,
people are driven. So it's just interesting to see how your perspective is on being able to, I guess, want to influence people and show people that everyone is unique and has a talent that is
yeah,
undiscovered, but you need to be able to dig into that person's mind or I guess talk to them in a way that is able to expose that talent or whatever they have going on.
yeah.
So that's really I really that's really cool. I really appreciate that
No,
you're
thank
doing
you.
that as a brand or as a company. And so and then how are you doing this exactly is my I guess I want to know. How are you bringing these people or showing people this?
Showing people that it's if it's what you want to do,
Mm,
we're gonna find a way to do it,
okay.
right? And it's worked so far, you know.
I think it's the same principle like what I was kind of talking about before. It's like when you get a difficult task, um, and you have a deadline to figure it out. You just got to make it happen. I think that's the way you got
Yeah,
to look at people sometimes, where it's like you have this talent, we got to, because it's we do it all the fucking time. They're like, we got projects where it's like we want to make this space into like we want it to look like this, right? I'm not going to be too specific
right,
on what we do, but we'll get spaces and we're like we want to turn it into this specific image that we have in our heads, and we want it to look this way. I think people are the same
right,
way where it's like we're a work of art. We just haven't been discovered or we haven't been given the right brushes or the right paint to be um, drawn out, and some people just need that direction in order to kind of like feel, and I mean, in order to get that finished portrait of who they are and what they can
right,
accomplish.
right. Yeah.
And and quick shout out
So,
to your drawings. Sorry, quick shout out to your drawings back there, man. Those things look awesome, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
yo, thank you, bro. Appreciate it. Yeah, that's another story for another day.
Sorry,
Hey,
sorry. Keep going, keep going.
no, you're good, man. You're good. I appreciate it, though. Thank you.
I feel like
Um,
that's what I'm getting at. That's exactly my point right there. Those portraits that Boris has in his background and like what he's saying right now, that's a different story for another time. It's just that's what it is right there. That this dude is literally to me right there. I mean, we've spoken about it before, but I feel like you're in the process of like figuring out that you're putting a puzzle together. I feel like right
yeah,
now, and
that
you're getting
essentially
to
right.
a specific, you're doing your math problem in a way to figure out exactly whatever you're doing back there and trying to figure out. But that's the
Yeah,
same way with people. You just got to help them figure out who they are. And I think nobody does that. As soon as we turn into adults, I feel like it's just like every day.
everyone lets go, and it's like
Yeah.
figure it out on your own, right? And some of us get into relationships and expect the other person to take on that thing that was missing. We're always looking for someone to fill that in, whatever's missing, whatever that feeling is, and you know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? That feeling, that void is what I'm talking about. It's empty because you're keeping it empty. You know what I'm saying? It's like my way of thinking is if you're sad, fuck it, be sad. You know what I mean? It's like if I'm
It's an
sad,
emotion.
be sad. If I'm mad, I'm fucking mad. Leave me alone. I'm mad.
Hmm.
And it just shouldn't stop you. It shouldn't like make you not want to pursue what you're doing. And if you're at the point where you have these feelings, these emotions that stop you in a certain way, I'm telling you, it's because you need to really look internally, right? And actually look at it, and you need to speak it out loud, speak it out loud, and I promise, like, we think that, but once you say it and you bring it to life, if you think you're a piece of shit, say that shit out loud. I'm a
Mm.
piece of shit.
Mm.
And then you're gonna hear it, you're gonna be like, am I really a piece of shit? You're like, yeah, I did forget. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like you only are what you
What
think
you
you
think
are,
you are? Yeah.
right? You know what I'm saying? It's
Mhm.
like Orlando could think I'm like the worst person ever, but it's like I'm the shit. I don't need him. You know what I
You
mean?
know,
It's like,
it's sad, but I feel like as more you get into yourself and you're becoming like you figure yourself out, you become more of a dick and more of
mhm.
an asshole kind of in a way because you start pushing people aside and you start pushing people like get the fuck out of my way, you're distracting me, you're kind of like in my way of like
Yes, yes,
focusing on
but
me.
you're 100, but I want to say it just a different way because I get what you're saying, right? But you don't want to insult anyone in the way as well,
No,
right? Because you got to remember that, like, we all came from someplace too,
Mhm.
right? So there's always that humbleness we got to keep regardless, right?
yeah,
Oh, you know how I am, bro. Like, till this day, I'll go to the store with my hoodie, fucking sneakers and shit, like how I always go. And people, they'll look at me like I'm like about to rob the place. You know what I'm saying? And getting those looks still till this day, I'm a grown ass man. You know what I'm saying? It's like career wise, I'm an engineer, right? Life path is just a little different, right? Because again, the career doesn't make you. So again, I want to answer your question before. What am I doing for
Mhm.
this? Is
Mhm.
what I'm providing is exactly what Lando said. Is
Mhm.
I figured out a
Okay.
certain process that has worked for me. And as long as you're cool with listening and just, you know what I mean, you can fight me on the idea and we can make it better. But understand that the foundation that I've worked on, I'm telling you, I've been thinking this way since I can remember, man, like 13. I've worked on this thinking process. And the way I've figured it out is that, you know, you have to see people's skill sets, right? Skill sets, not what they went to school to do. And this is what I have my degree in. Skill sets. What are you good at? And what do you actually want to do? Right? Because we chase the money, we chase the dream, but you don't understand that the dream is actually, fuck, I should actually just be chilling and not worrying about this $800 car payment I got next month. You know what I'm saying? It's things like that. Is if you want the nice things, learn that you got to work for it. Work for it, right? And what I mean, learn is actually learn some shit. Learn some shit, you know? And that's what I'm providing is that resource that if you need help in any way, you got any
Mm.
idea, you have a business that needs branding, that needs
Mm.
music video editing, music
Mhm.
production, audio visual architect, whatever it is, I
Mm.
promise you, I got you.
it's like
That's
literally
what.
like going to it's like literally going to the gym. Ronald's into a lot of the physical therapy and like keeping healthy. I think this dude's been this way since he was what middle school, around high school. When did you start? Being this way.
Like driven by the gym and health and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
I would say around like seventh to eighth grade, something like flipped in my mind, where it became
Right,
that motivation. Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
There's
because I
some.
was gonna say, like, Lando's been telling me for a while about you and the fitness thing for years.
Yeah.
Years. So yeah.
So it's something like that where it's like people like when it becomes, I guess, external visibility things that you could show off, people like the majority of people gravitate to that, and everybody
Right.
wants to do that, right? But what my example is, and what my point is, what I'm trying to get to is, people forget that you got to also work out your brain. Uh, put those tasks that those abilities, like, it's the same thing. It's like, shit, I want to look good. I want to physically look good. I want to impress people, da, 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 right? But you also think about, like, same way you're dreaming about that, you also have dreams about, like, shit, I wish I could do this. Like, I wish I could accomplish this. I wish I could do this type of, like, work, or, I wish I could own this type of business,
Mhm.
things like that. But people
Mhm.
forget that that also takes a process of, like, working out your brain in order to get there. And what
Right.
happens is you don't have a trainer to train you to basically take you there and show you that type of process. I feel like,
Yeah.
yeah, we have trainers to help you work out. We have nutritionists to help you lose the weight and eat properly. But when it comes to, like, learning, all we have is fucking school that teaches you how to read a book, and how to do a certain process. But they don't,
Mhm.
like, they're not. There's no one-on-one. What I'm trying to say, there probably is. I'm not saying there isn't, but
Right.
it's lacking. It's definitely lacking.
Right.
You don't you don't
It
really hear
is
about them.
100%. And
And you get into, like, a lot of business schemes that people, like, you hear it all over Instagram nowadays, where it's like, I'll help you, whatever, flip $300 to this, whatever bullshit, right? But
right.
you don't really have people out there that kind of, what Boris is getting at is, like, they'll teach you a process to figure out what you want to do, get those end results.
Right. It's that same saying that you've always heard, right? It's like, and I'm sorry if I fuck it up, but it's like you could take the horse to the lake because it's thirsty. It's
Mm.
really thirsty, but you can't make him drink,
Hmm. Hmm.
right?
Yeah,
It's
it's a
that same
mindset.
thing, right? It's that same thing. It's like if you want it, you're gonna find a way to be able to drink. And that is furthering, I mean, that doing push-ups for your brain, bro. That
Hmm.
shit matters.
Hmm.
And it's not, people think that it's like you gotta go to school and learn all of this. It's read every day. Just literally, I've told you that how long ago, Lando? It's read every day. It matters what you read, but if you're still consistently reading, you're still opening that up. Super side note. The sky over here in Arizona is different, man. It's
It
so
is.
different. The clouds, they do not seem real,
Wait. Before you
bro.
get into details, when I go to California, I have the same experience, right? When I go to Cali,
Mhm.
it's like you got that purple hue in the sky that you don't get here
Mhm.
in New York. You get more like a bluish
Yes,
tint here.
100%.
That's what you get in Arizona too?
Yeah, but it's a little more orangey.
Orange,
Like
right?
how it's orange in New York. Over here, it's like different shades of orange all at the same time. It's crazy.
It's
But
crazy.
the other
Yeah.
day, I was gonna say the other day we were driving, right? Me and my girl were driving, and we saw this cloud. And out of the entire, I took a video of it too. The entire sky, it had clouds, but they were like matted looking. They were in the background chilling. But there was this one just right there, and it was reflecting the sun like it was metallic. Like no
Uh,
cap, bro. It literally, I don't know. I couldn't explain it. I'm like, yo, that is not a cloud. That shit look crazy. Yeah, super side note, but
That's awesome, man. Yeah, no,
right.
I think that was probably sometime in September, my birthday month. So it's probably, you got the best guy.
Yeah, right. Well, my mind just passed. So
Oh, happy birthday, by the way. My bad, bro. I
Happy
didn't wish you
right,
birthday.
happy
right,
birthday.
right,
My
right.
bad.
Ronald, ask him how long we've been friends. I didn't even get a happy birthday,
Oh
bro.
man, it's all
Ahí
right.
estamos.
He forgets
It's all
everything
good.
about me too. He's just in his own world
I
of
don't look. I'm probably the
That's what
worst
man.
person. Boris knows this already. He's just busting my chops, but he knows that I'm like the worst person with birthdays. I could care less. It's not that I don't care about you. It's
Yeah,
just I could care less about birthdays.
it's Orlando. It's
Yeah.
yeah,
Orlando.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Of course. But back to you, Boris. And back to a little bit about what we were talking about. So, what are you chasing now? What are you working on now, other than the company? What are you doing? I guess.
It's not just a company for me. It's how I
Mm,
live every day.
okay.
Not even kidding. Everything I do, it's it's part of that. It's like what Orlando said. It's like I'm putting the pieces together
Mm-hmm.
almost. You know that even I'm working on like a graphic novel. It's that same one that we've talked about, Orlando, years ago. Finally got all the characters now, right? Like it, and that's why you see those. It just comes to me, and I just have to like get it out, right? Pause, and sorry, I'm from New York, and I gotta get used to saying that out here too, because nobody understands what like my jokes.
Yeah,
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
yeah.
it's different. They're like pause, like play, like, what?
That's
Anyway,
funny.
but
You gotta tone it down a little bit, man. Take it a little bit
right,
slower for them.
a little bit. So it's that, man. Is
Okay.
if I'm not actually like working, doing like production work, right? Because I have a couple things going on with certain parts of the company as far as like doing actual design work. So the company essentially it's a design consulting firm,
Mm.
right? And the reason I call it design is because no matter what it is, if it's the simplest of tasks, we can design it a certain way, right? And it's the most proficient and cost efficient than you would actually get using different services, right? And it's just a different approach as well that you'll see why this is different, why SVMRII is different.
Mm.
You can go to a company that will do something for you, but we'll do it, but you'll actually know what we did, and it's again, it's a way of how you communicate with people and how you can be relatable with people, right? So, you know, it may not be work. I don't see it as work for me.
Mm.
I see it as just like I just got to get it done. And one of those things is, my brother, he chills. He makes music, right? And with that is understanding just the process of business and how things get distributed, and you need certain contracts and all that. It's another language, right, that I've been fortunate to learn, right? So with that, we also do music, right? Because
Mm.
you know everyone waits for that one moment to blow up and whatever, and it's
Mm.
like, don't wait for that moment. You know what I mean? Don't wait for that moment. Make them see that moment, right? So that's why it's big for me too with the branding, right? We won't just help you make music, we'll help you carry yourself in that industry, right? And that's why it's big for me to have my brother as the, how do I say it? I don't want to call like the role model for it, but the one to set that footprint and being able to show that it is possible, right? You don't have to wait for that moment. As long as you put in that work consistently, you'll get better. People will start respecting that, and then things happen. And that's what it is for me. So
Mm.
I'm honestly telling you, like, this is what I do all the time. I have a meeting tomorrow with someone that's an owner of a church,
Mm.
right? So I'm going to be helping with branding and all that stuff like that. So that's pretty cool, you
That's
know.
dope. Yeah. I mean that was one of my questions. I know we've spoken offline on certain topics of like what you're doing now, and my biggest concern was kind of like I was thinking about it was legal documentation or contracts and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, once once I heard you were digging into like into these bigger pools of you know getting these tasks done or like
Yeah.
venturing into those type of environments. So I was wondering, I was like, damn, how is he going to do those legal papers or contracts? And like it just gets crazy once you have to like go legit. So what
It
how
yes.
how'd you achieve those type of you know obstacles?
It's just another task that got to get done, right?
Hmm.
So it's if I don't know it, I have to figure it out.
Hmm.
And what I've learned along the way is I can't do everything, I
Hmm.
would love to do everything right, and it's like I know everything's right, it's just how I am. But you have to learn that sometimes you have to delegate, right? And you got to delegate certain tasks to certain people once you understand their skill sets. And with that, that helps heavy in that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you definitely reach out to a third party and confirm your whatever it
Exactly.
is. But yeah, my main focus was like the legal documentation of whatever task you're digging into, and how are you making sure that your ass doesn't get screwed over?
It's that. It's literally in the process of right now, bro, of looking into getting certain legal assistance in that way,
Hmm. Okay,
right? Because
that's cool.
it's
That's cool.
you have to, you know what I mean? It's outside of personal life, once you
Hmm.
get into wanting to make money a certain way, right? Because that's what this is essentially, right? It's you can help people in the process, but it's everyone has to still eat, right? So we also have to make money, and with that way, once you start making a certain way and the money is moving throughout, you have to make sure things are correct. So that's literally what I'm in the process of right now, because it's been a very one-man show, for a while. I have my brother and a team that helps with like the music portion of it, but when it comes to the engineering design part, it's been essentially me, so doing the paperwork and all that stuff is the next step in that, right? And you're right, it's has to be done correct, you know
Yeah, it has
it,
to be done. Yeah,
it'll be all
properly.
for nothing if I didn't do it right.
Hmm. I mean, that's awesome, man. That's amazing that you're able to. I mean, anybody can do it. It's just like what you said. You just got to sit down and do the work.
Just do it, right?
Yeah.
Stop seeing it as something hard to do. Just do it, right?
Hmm.
That Nike shit, bro. Sponsor.
Just
Just
do
Trying to
do
get that
it.
it.
Nike sponsor, bro. Just do it.
Yeah. Have you? Uh, Let me ask you this: Have you gotten into any trouble yet?
Any trouble as far as like
Like, not
work?
yeah, work wise. Like, I'm still in the realm of like what you're referring to as like this is your new task of like
Um,
and your job or your business.
no, not in that sense. As far as like legal, you know what I mean? Nothing like that. There's just been things with the music stuff that it can get a little fishy, and especially in the beginning, being independent, right? Because when we distribute the music, it's all through the SVMRII, right? So it's SVMRII LLC and all that stuff. Shout out Chills. Yeah, so it's like we've gotten into certain situations like where he performed, and I think that was you came to one of
Yes.
those.
Yeah.
He went back to that place and performed again, and there was like a little situation with someone there, and said they had saw something go on, and it wasn't him, and there was cameras and everything. But even with that, they were pressing, and saying that, oh, they're gonna get the authorities involved in all this stuff, and it's just even understanding of how to move through that was big, because when you're not aware of certain situations and how to act, you start to freak out, and you may make a decision that may not be the best, and it's like you could have just said that.
Okay.
So
Man,
that
I
that
wish
was
the
kind
best. Yeah, man, I wish the best for you guys in that aspect because yeah, it is. Those type of
of
environments are a little fishy, I guess.
hmm
Whatever music genre you're getting into, I feel like everybody, uh, it's
it's
usually
just
like a
every
hard
field
time.
has their thing.
So,
Yeah.
Everybody has their
do
thing.
you? I think do you make music? I think Old told me you make music as well.
I
You
do
do.
as well, yeah.
Okay.
So but that's part of it for me too, like part of
Okay.
this
Are
memory.
are you still
Yeah,
making music, or are you kind of focused on
yeah,
more of the business
yeah.
side? Okay.
No, I for me the music thing is big because I've always wanted to make music since a kid,
Mm.
right? So always wanted to be in a band, but always in the back of my head, growing up, my dad is always like, you got to make sure your brothers and your mom are good, and you got to get a good job. So I always was like, fuck, I can't make money being just in a band. So here we go. You're never too old. So, yeah, make music too.
Okay.
I I did drop a little project that I was working on for a while, and it's in that same philosophy of SVMRII, because that's what I do music as SVMRII. And I did it for a reason, and even how I recorded it a certain way
Mm.
is because I want people to understand that I will do architecture, engineering stuff, or whatever you need in that way, but we can also do very creative stuff. And in order for me to show you that I can do it, I have to show that I can't do it. Does that make
Hmm.
sense?
Yeah.
Right. So the project that I dropped was 63 tracks.
Oh
I
wow.
know it seems a lot, but it's for me, it's more like almost like an audiobook, right? Because when I was recording it, it was I was going through some stuff in my life, and it was the only outlet that made me feel better, right? So I would always go to my car, smoke some bud, and throw on
Inspiration.
some beat, right? Throw on some. We can get into that too. You know what I mean? That was a big thing in even like when you asked me like when did I start thinking like this? That
Yeah.
was a big thing with my thought process and with even having ADHD, right? It has a misconception, like negative, but it has its positives
Hmm.
too.
For sure.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, tell us about it.
Oh, about that is
Yeah. If you want to, if you definitely,
yeah,
it's up
yeah,
to
no,
you.
no, that bro, I live my life, bro. That's why we do it. You know what I mean?
Uh,
It's literally this is why I'm choosing to do this. It's because I want to live the way I want to live.
yeah.
And I don't need someone to be like, hey, you're fired. And now I'm like, fuck. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's always gotta have something in the back pocket, make sure I'm good.
Yeah, I tell Ron with that every day, and I think that's I he's ambitious as well. I think he sees that
Yeah.
too. To like, I think he's living it right now, and he's kind of in that part of his life where he's like, fuck this shit. that 9 to 5 where it's like, fuck, it's like I can't do this. So
Right.
yeah,
But don't take it as like a waste of time. Take it as
no, that's what
everything. No, no, I'm not saying that you're wrong, and I'm just saying it's all a learning. Um,
100%. Yeah, I mean, even like even if you do get out of corporate life or whatever type
mhm.
of 9 to 5 job you have, no matter where the hell else you go in life, business wise or whatever it is, you're still gonna be in the same fucking type of cycle.
Mm.
It's
Right,
just it's all your mentality. You just gotta like see
right,
it differently. You just gotta change that.
right,
But yeah, it does suck, getting fired from a job and then you don't really know what the fuck you're doing. What tomorrow brings.
right. So it's just even that's something that I'm telling you we help with as well. Is I want people to eventually realize that SVMRI is a all in one shop stop of place, right?
Yeah,
That I'm creating a website and application for it with all the services that will be provided, and it's also a way to be able to just search anything that you need, right? You go to swimmery.com and it's just a search bar, and it can be I need my car fixed today, things like that. It can be I don't feel great today, search bar. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like a Google, but it's more for it's an internal search for you. That's how I'm trying to set it up.
Mm.
yeah,
And are you the
You
only
know,
one working on this, or do you have like a team?
no, I have a team.
Okay.
It's if it was just me, I wouldn't be. Just, you know what I mean? It's a lot, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, it's the reason why I am doing this is because if I have people relying on me, that gives me like the gasoline to be like, I have people depending on me now, and it's bigger than that, because life gets hard, bro.
Mm.
Life gets really hard, especially when you don't have it like that. But just because you don't have it like that doesn't mean you can't. You know what I mean?
Mm.
have it like what like I know what you mean, but have it like what
Whatever
do you mean?
your happiness is,
Okay. Okay.
right? I'm not
Yeah.
saying, like you could want to be a billionaire and that would make you happy. You
Yeah.
think, but that's your dream. But someone could be like, I just want a house on that mountain right there, and that's it.
Mhm.
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
you know
what
what I mean?
about for you, Ron? Ron, what for you? What would it be?
What would be my happiness, or
Yeah, what would be your happiness?
I think my happiness is, and I might have told you, but my happiness is just try to inspire people in whatever they want to do and be the best at what they're trying to do. I think that's what I want to live and what I want to leave as a person, whether it's a
Right,
physical therapist, whether it's as a person, as a whatever I become. I just
hmm
want to be I just want to inspire people to just be good at whatever they want to do, because I think
that's
that's the
why.
I think I think I think I've always had that like mentality that even when I have my patients or I have kids that I'm training in soccer, is that you want to reach these goals, but the only way to work toward those goals are being able to also have that other person pushing you toward those goals.
right,
And some people don't have those mentors like we were speaking about before. But you have to be that person to be able to push those people. Whoever you meet, it doesn't matter who you meet, and it doesn't matter what they're doing in their career life. It doesn't matter. You want to be that inspiration to help them push themselves further.
That's interesting.
right.
That's why that's why I was kind of bringing it up because it's like very close to what Boris is getting at here, and it just there's a huge similarity I think
Mm.
between all of us that
Mm.
I think that's that's pretty cool, and I just wanted to point that I wanted to point that out, right?
No, definitely, man.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a little bit about the Yugen brand. And I mean, I don't know if I always told you what Yugen
I
means.
love it. He hasn't actually. I don't know. I don't remember him saying.
So
It
Like
you
sounds like, oh, you. It sounds
yeah,
like that.
no. It's funny because yeah, it is a Japanese term, and it's like I love anime, and it does sound like Yugenha, and my little character looks like a little
Mm,
like a little anime character. But what it means is just
that's dope.
it's an emotional response to the universe that evokes um something that you can't describe. And so like when I told O about the brand, it was always like when you reach a goal or when anybody reaches their goal, it's like they're just like in awe. Like but you just there's something about that goal that you just can't
Right.
describe it. And that's what Yugen always meant for me, and that's why I wanted to transpire to people like, this is Yugen, and you can reach that Yugen with whatever you want to do.
I like that. I like
Yeah,
that actually.
we're
Very.
also we're also coming out. It's fucking crazy with different characters. We have like a couple of ideas of how it's going to evolve, but different characters. Not yet. We were talking about it, but we have
Yeah.
this is one of them. We also have another one, but Brown didn't post that one up on today.
Okay.
Yeah,
No, that's
yeah.
dope. I
But
like
yeah,
that,
he hand drew that one himself, by the way.
bro.
Yeah.
I like it. Well,
Yeah,
hold
so
on. I gotta ask you a question real quick.
yeah.
You fuck with Demon Slayer?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
All right, all right. Just making sure. Hold on. I have this one right here. Look.
Let me see,
Can
let
you
me
see
see,
this?
let me see all the drawings, man.
That's
That's what
Oh,
sick.
Demon Slayer right there.
oh,
But that I did that one for my brother, so it has like his tattoos and shit.
okay, yeah, I
Yo,
like
can you
that.
give us? Yeah, I like the middle ones that you got are very like dark. I mean,
Oh
they look
yeah,
very detailed. Can you give us one example of one of those that you could kind of give us a great explanation of what it means to you?
I can try. Um, sure. Let me see. I get. Can you see this one good or no? Or is it like blurry?
We see our faces. If you could angle
You
it a
see your
bit,
faces, right? Hold on. Then let me come over here. Then hold on. I don't know if you can really see him, bro. But
just bring. Yeah, we can.
okay. I don't have to get specific with each one. I
Mhm,
was just gonna say is that as a whole, it goes to what you were saying that I'm building this story.
mhm,
But the middle ones for me, right? I have sketches everywhere, bro. Books everywhere. But the middle ones are more of the of like my SVMRII story,
mhm,
right? And how I visualized it, right? Because we all have this imagination, right? And what I've done is I've used the imagination to help me process the way that I've either feel or think of things.
mhm,
you know. So that's why sometimes like I just get the urge and I just got to do something that comes out. So it may not be the best thing that's done, and that's why like even with my music, you know, I recorded all that in my car with just my phone and edited only on my phone. You know what I mean? I did that for a reason. And if you actually really bump that shit with bass, it goes hard. And I'm not trying to say like you know, it goes hard.
Yeah.
But it's still the same thing. It has the same emotion that like the pictures have for me. Is it brings me back to that time, that space, and I can remember now how I felt.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So for me, it's like all these are like almost like mini portals to those
Mm-hmm.
times in our head or our timeline. You know what I mean? It could be a sad emotion or happy, whatever, but it's still it's what I was saying. If you convert the negative energy into something, you know what I mean? It'll translate. And that you just got to find your way of how to integrate that with your process.
So, is
And
there one of those drawings in specific that you kind of just break down in like a description of what it is and what it means
I
to you?
mean, see that's the thing of what it means to me is what I just explained to you.
Okay.
Like I don't have they're almost
They're little
like just
time.
frames. Exactly they're frames in a scene
Mm,
almost for me. So this it's hard to see, but that's like a samurai, right? Because SVMRII is like a spin-off of samurai. Because
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like you, Rano. I've been heavy on Japanese culture since the day. You know what I'm saying? So anime is heavy for me, so that it's easier for me to translate things in that way,
mm,
right? So I've always liked the word samurai, and then made the company under SVMRII.
Okay, that's new to me.
So
I like it.
yeah, I don't know if I ever share that, but so it's just pretty much like a samurai sitting down,
Mm-hmm.
and if you look at it, it looks like he's sad. You know what I mean? Because of the shadow and all that stuff. And I was just trying to go against that, where you see something that looks gloomy, and you think that it's just sad or whatever, but it's if you really pay attention to the detail, it's him actually just focusing on what he's trying to look at. And that's why over here it's with less detail, so it feels like it's going to go into the next scene now. If that makes
mm,
sense.
mm. If you don't mind sending like just sending a picture, and I'll put that on the video like on YouTube,
Yeah, I appreciate it.
just so you're
Yeah.
explaining it and it's a little bit closer.
Yeah, I was about to
Yeah.
say the same exact thing. Like, send us a picture of that, and we're gonna,
So
blow
that
it
that
up.
that's the thing is those middle ones are a set of collections that I want to make for SVMRII,
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
but they also tie in with the different parts of the company as well. So that's why like there's portions of there's like this blade up there that it's like I made it for my brother because his name is Jeffrey, but he goes by Chills. That's his rap name,
mm,
and his logo is a snowflake.
mm,
So it's like with the anime thing, I wanted to make him his own blade
mm.
and put some stuff into that, and it translates. It's dope, and it's like the more that I piece them together, and this is why I can speak forever, Ronald. So you stop me, man. But it's the older I get, right? I haven't just been doing this. I have
Mm,
sketchbooks, and Lana can tell you I have sketchbooks since I can remember in my mom's garage. I have to still go through. I'm putting the pieces together now, and it's almost
Mm-hmm.
like it's like maps. You know what I
Uh,
mean? And it sounds crazy, but I'm telling you, like it's making sense to me. And the more
yep.
that I make it sense, everything else starts to make more sense. And I don't know
Yeah.
how to explain that,
what
but it's so like it's
Yeah.
crazy.
are you a spiritual person or are you more religious person? You would say.
Um, I would say, I guess more. I don't know, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? And
Okay.
I can tell you it's because I was raised right. I think it was Catholic, and I don't know. It was either Catholic or something else. I don't really remember. But my dad was a Jehovah's Witness when he was young,
Mm,
right? So he had a certain thing about it, and my mom, she had a certain thing too. And you know how Spanish moms are, that you have to be very, and I like that. But that wasn't pushed onto me as a kid for me and my brothers. But it never took away though the idea that this world, everything, outer space, all these things, even
mm,
at the minimal scale, that like
mm,
it's so fucking intricate that you cannot say something didn't have a thing to do with it. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
mm,
And for me is I very much believe in God. I
mm,
may not have a certain God that I look at in that way,
mm.
but I respect the sense of knowing that there is that, right? And knowing my place in that. You get what I mean?
I get what you're saying.
So that's how I see it. So it's, I can't say that I'm super religious. I see it more spiritual, I guess, but I've always just been me, man. So
Yeah, no, I'm kind of on the same boat. Obviously, my family's Catholic, but I've always kind of like tuned into like the world and I feel like more spiritual. That there's something there, but we can't see it, and maybe
oh,
it's not
yeah.
the God that everyone thinks of, but there's something there, a
Mm-hmm.
higher power that is able to, I don't know, disseminate us and whatever is controlling us and whatever it is, and
Something.
created something. Yeah. So.
It's something, right?
Mm,
Like real quick, I even saw a video last night of you know the angle 30 degrees,
mm,
right? 40, 90,
yeah.
30, whatever. 30 degrees. If you take a circle and you cut that in half like that with two lines, and you take the 30 degrees, right, and you line out the circle. I'm sorry if I'm explaining it weird, but now you have like all these like lines in the circle with the 30 degrees. Those 30 degrees are, if you have a pendulum going, it literally goes to 1 second. So every 30 degrees is like 1 second. And having those degrees inside of that circle also make certain symbols that like people use for religious purposes and stuff like
Hmm.
that. And it starts to even get into more detail that the 30 like it was this crazy thing about just 30 degrees, right? And even that alone is like people see it and they're like, oh, that's pretty cool, but that's math shit, whatever. But I see it as like, that's why there is a God, because it's like shit like that cannot make sense just out of random. Like nature is nature, but that doesn't mean that nature can't still be like have certain patterns that it has to uphold. That's why a sunflower always looks like a sunflower. It has a certain mapping to it already. And that mapping is like something had to have done that, you know. God. Right, I don't know.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Yo, so what was one event that definitely changed you from who you were when I worked with you to who you are now? Was there anything that you did that, besides your relationship, that I definitely see that kind of did a 360 on? Well, no, a 180, right? You did a 180 because you're not the same person now. You're
Oh,
you're a
yeah.
different person.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, I think that, I don't know. From what I see, is like you've changed a lot. You've definitely, um, you're not the same person that I worked with. I don't know if
Hmm.
you've been told that.
No, actually, I didn't know. I thought I was the
No.
same. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's obviously you're the same person, but like character-wise, you're not the same,
Oh.
uh, individual that I worked with. You're slightly different. I haven't been able to kind of like narrow it down yet on
Mm.
what it is, but maybe you could help me explain it to me that, what was it that changed you? Did you happen to have like some other type of event in your life that opened your eyes to see differently, to see the world
Um,
differently?
yeah, I think when we were working together, what the big thing for me was my dad's passing, whatever, right? That was big for me, but I didn't really know how to translate it.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I know it's gonna sound weird, but I've always had a a certain disconnect when it comes to reacting to certain emotions that I'm supposed to have, you know? So I've gotten my entire life like, wow, you're a dick. And I'm just like, wait, I'm still processing. Like, hold on, I'm going to be sad right now. Like, you know what I mean? It's things like that. And that hit me a certain way, right? And that,
Like you grieving, but like grieving in
no,
your own way.
no, what I mean is that it hit me in the way of, I learned how to grieve in my own way eventually, you know, with help and stuff like that. But what was different for me is now understanding that I actually have no one anymore that has my back. And
Mm.
that was big for me. You know what I mean? Because
Okay.
it's like you're still an adult, whatever, but you know you still got your parents. So it's just like, not that like your parents are gonna bail you out on something like that. It's more like I have that shoulder, I have that, I have, you know what I mean? Like always
I'm not
having
in.
that.
I'm not in this world alone, but now you are.
It's right, right. And that's what it was, that it's like, okay, I'm in a relationship with someone, I have brothers, I have my mom, but why do I feel more alone now? Right. And it was that, learning about that. But really, honestly, Lando, what changed me,
Hmm.
and I can tell you what changed me, is that I finally understood, and this happened, I think, when I was like 31. I'm 35 now, just turned 35. So this only happened a couple years ago, you know, um, in the
Holy
way that
shit!
my mindset is now. Yeah.
Yo, somebody asked me my age today, and I told them I was 34.
My God, you're older than me.
Yeah, you just reminded me. I'm actually 35. Oh God.
Um, no, so yeah, I was gonna say
Sorry
that.
about that.
No, no, you're good. You're good. A big thing that happened to me in my change and helping me get to the point that I want to be at is that I finally understood why I always felt a certain way growing up,
Mm-hmm.
why I always felt different than my friends,
Mm-hmm.
why I always had certain ways to like be able to relate with someone, and it was hard for me to even make small talk, hard
Mm-hmm.
for me to do like the straight eye contact, and I'm like, why do I always do that? You
Mm-hmm.
know, like certain things, you know, and I always saw it as like, maybe I'm just nervous, maybe I'm just like whatever, it's just my thing. um when I was 31, I finally exposed myself to understand that maybe I don't just have ADHD, you know, maybe I'm not just hyper. You know what I mean? Or like that's why I'm always thinking this way or whatever. And I took a I took a test online, and it was pretty much, it said a certain thing, and I'm like, what? You know what I mean? I'm like, I didn't. That doesn't make any sense. I don't would never thought that. And then I start reading the traits and the ways that like whatever, and I'm like, why the fuck are they talking about me right now? Like, how do they know me?
Mm-hmm.
You know, on a different level. You know, and then I went to a clinic, and at the clinic they made me take this like IQ test or some shit. And the IQ test, I've taken IQ tests before, and you know, there's a certain way, but this one was set up with like patterns, and it was different. But I'm like, yo, this shit is easy. I was like, bloop, 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 right? And I'm like, okay, this is easy. Like, and then I'm thinking, I'm like, wait, fuck, it was too easy. That means it's like maybe it's a trick question. I'm like, fuck. And I come back, and the lady's like, I don't remember the score, but she said I did okay. I did good. But she said that I did good in the section of, now that it puts me in a bracket of having high functioning autism. And I was like, I'm autistic? Like what? You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah. And doing more research in that, I was like, fuck, this makes so much fucking sense now. And when I tell you that, it's like, imagine, Ronald, like living your entire life till like 3 years ago, right? 3 years ago, you finally find out why you've always felt like 75%. And there's like a 25% that like, you know, is there, but it's like, where the fuck is it? And it's like, I don't understand why no one else sees it. Like, what? and it's always there. And so for me, it was like understanding that helped me put that rest in, because now I'm not making the excuses of like, fuck yeah, this is hard for me because of this. Now it's
Mm.
like, oh, I saw it as hard because I am this. Let me look at it like this now. And you don't even imagine how that's helped my life. So
Mm.
that's what
Wow,
I can tell you, Orlando. It's helped me dramatically.
that's so
Okay.
interesting to have
Yeah.
that. To have that, I guess, be seen to you or talk spoken to you, and why you were like that. Because to have that disconnect for a long time and then being able to piece it together is just. It
I
must be.
think
Yeah.
It
we
must have been tough for sure. It must have been tough. I
I
could.
think we all suffer that.
It was
We
like
just
mind
don't.
blowing,
Yeah,
literally.
I think we all suffer that type of situation with that. We always feel like something's missing. We just don't go to the extent what Boris kind of did and had himself examined to probably diagnose, whatever it is, either anger issues, being happy too much, being nervous, can't look at people in their eyes. You know, I feel like we dismiss it like, oh, it's normal.
Right.
So
And so it's just that it's understanding more of you.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It
exactly.
just helped big time.
So yeah, no, definitely. I could tell there's something different about you, bro, and I guess that's what it is. That I could tell that um, it's looking good. You don't look like you're 35. You're looking younger, kid.
Yo,
You're
I
doing your
appreciate
shit.
it.
You're doing your shit. I'm proud of you, and
I appreciate it.
keep doing the good work. But I also wanted to touch the topic. And Ronald, if you have anything you want to ask Boris that's more like deep that you want to listen to, ask him. I think this kid has a lot to offer, and he's definitely like insightful in many ways. And I get, he definitely let you know if he doesn't. But what do you think about collaborating with people and being on the same train of thought? And I think we did it once, and I think being on that level that we were at back in the day, to me, it definitely um, it we connected a lot of dots that till this day I still like amaze myself that we kind of did those things. Um, but what do you think about that? Like that collaboration of working with people and being on that like-minded mindset to think almost the same way. Do you think like the universe kind of opens, uh, you know, your train of thought to think the same way and figure shit out without even knowing what the hell you're doing?
I
Boris?
mean, um, yeah, it opens up everything. It opens up everything. Is
Mm-hmm.
what we were doing before? It was the like we were getting the first initial like drips of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why like till this day we'll look at it and we'll be like, damn, that's pretty good stuff. But now I look at it and I'm like, we didn't think of this. We forgot
Mm-hmm.
this. You know what I'm saying? We
Mm-hmm.
weren't there yet, right? And throughout the way, learned how to open up the faucet a little more, right? Opening up the faucet, it's like we're like a conduit, right?
Yep.
And that's why Ronald, in that way, I feel very spiritual in that sense because what I call the flow of what comes through the conduit, that flow, that energy is what we call that inspiration. That now my imagination is going, my idea just came to me. Oh, I just made the best song. I just wrote the best thing. That those moments only happen when you tap in, you know? When you tap in and do your best work, is you having that faucet open. You just have to figure out how to open yours, you know? And once you do have it open, you have to now like learn how to control the flow of it, right? And that's what you're saying, Lando, is when you have that open, people tend to gravitate towards you, right? And it's not like I'm not saying it in like even like a social way, like, well, they won't be your friend. I'm not even talking about like that.
No,
The
people just
grav-
like out of nowhere, just like
it's very,
you
that's what I'm
connect.
saying. It is an energy. It's very magnetic, because you'll start to get people that come to you with very similar ideals, but their ideas are different. You get what I'm saying? Similar ideals, but their ideas are different. And that's the disconnect in people, that just because your idea is this and my idea is this does not mean that we can't both make sure that both our ideas are fucking dope and that we both win. Everybody thinks it's just themselves. You get what I'm saying? So it's being the open conduit. Let that gravitate towards you, but learn what's good for you and not good for you. Right? Because not everything that presents itself as like shiny, it's like, oh, it's fucking diamond. For all you know, that shit could be glitter. They got that shit at the 99-cent store. You know what I'm saying? So it's that people will gravitate, but then you'll start to actually start seeing the patterns in people and who actually is there for a purpose, you know. So yeah,
Yeah, I
we
think.
call
I
it
mean,
universe, you want to call it whatever it is. It's just how it works.
I mean, it's weird, dude. It's just like sometimes I feel like going back and thinking of those days. It's not like like just remembering about it, but it's still alive to this day. Like it's like
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is. Sometimes it's just like I can still learn from those days, and I can still like kind of tap into that train of thought. Ron, have you ever had an experience like that?
As far as
Like, well, like think about it like this way, dude. It's like more of like you doing your design for your logo. How'd that come about? I get it. You did it because you watch anime and you kind of like uh transcribe that information into this, right? But I feel that the whole energy behind Yugen is still something else that you're tapping into, and you kind of like constantly
Exactly.
do it every day. You're tapping into something else, some energy that's pushing you. That's something else. That's not just you uh, kind of just waking up. Oh, I'm going to do Yugen and motivate people to be all they can be.
Right?
yeah,
Because
it's
yeah.
not.
No, I was gonna say that's right.
I think it was more along the lines of how can I create a brand or following of what I perceive to be genuine and to my style, but still have the aspect of wanting to motivate people. It may not be that what you're saying or just wanting to motivate people.
No, I'm not. That's exactly the opposite of what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
so it's more of an innate response of what I've done in life and something telling me inside that this is what you're supposed to do.
That's my point.
And of course, I wake up and I want to be better than yesterday, but
And that's what
something
SVMRII is.
inside of me says you're doing this for a reason and don't stop. And I've always felt there's something that I can't explain, but I see the connection between Yugen and Simri. And again, just reiterating my point is that something tells me every day, and it's what again made me come up with the concept of Yugen because no matter if it becomes big or not, again, this makes me tap into the energy you guys are talking
Hmm.
about. And I've always been spiritual myself, so this energy, no matter what it is the driving force behind everything I do and want to become eventually. And we should each strive to tap into that self.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's exactly that. It's that what you hear, right, or what's coming to you as like you need to do this. That's the same thing that you hear from religious people. I heard God speak to me. Translate it the way that it makes sense to you. You get what I'm saying? But really, really dig into that, because it's what Orlando's saying is you didn't just wake up one day and boom. You have those thoughts and those ideals of what you want to do for a reason, right? And you want to inspire people because you know you can, right? It's like if you knew you couldn't, you wouldn't even think about that.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, right? It's like saying like, I want to be the best skateboarder, but you never been on a skateboard. But I want to be the best skateboarder. Then get on it. You know what I'm
Look,
saying?
it's like nobody in our family says, it's not like you're a product of your environment. It
Right.
can't be that.
Well, I wouldn't say that just because
Hmm.
obviously my environment, for example, was someone like my brother who has achieved things in life, and why wouldn't I want to achieve the same? So it's always an interesting topic for me, of course, because we grew up in Brentwood, and it isn't the greatest environment to grow up in, but at the same time, whatever I didn't have made me grow into the person that I am and strive to be better. I see you achieving more, so I'm always like, why can't I? I'm still young, and so I'm always learning from anyone, no matter who it is, whether they're young or old. I personally think it's what has made me a better person in life.
Mm-hmm.
I personally believe that at the end of the day, we're given a path, and whether you stray off that path will ultimately be set upon your environment. Some are blessed to be given a great life, and others maybe
Right.
not. But even those who had it easy and became something still had to work. So environment plays one part, but it's not the bread and butter of who you become, because we eventually make our own decisions and learn to think for ourselves without the approval and the opinion of others.
Right.
And
A few minutes left on this podcast. Ronald, I don't know how many minutes exactly we have left.
7 minutes.
Do you want to ask Boris something? Do you want to get into specifics on anything real quick?
Not
Mm-hmm.
anything I can think of right now, but it's been a pleasure having you on, and I really enjoyed this one just because it shows me that others think deeply as well with what you have going on and how you explain to us that feeling or disconnect of who you are, which speaks words. And I couldn't imagine that feeling myself. So it's a testament to what you're
Yeah.
trying to achieve now. So don't
One
stop, man. And I appreciate you coming on, and don't stop shooting for space. And again, don't stop, man, because when dreams become reality when you keep working for them,
No,
and
thank
keep
you.
doing it, man. So yeah, it's been a pleasure.
No, it was dope. No, it was dope, man. I, I appreciate you guys letting me speak, man.
No
I
doubt,
speak
bro.
for days, and my family be like, "Yo, be quiet already." You know. So
When you coming back out to New York, man?
soon, I gotta come soon, bro. Gotta get the rest of my stuff. So hoping before December, probably.
Oh shit. Okay. Definitely hit me up when
Yeah,
you're out there.
yeah. I'll let you know.
Just want to say this has been one of my favorite podcasts. And is there anything you want to promote, company, and then a message to the world that you want to give out?
Um, yeah, the message that I want to put out there for people to like really get it to them. Yeah, the company's SVMRII, right? You'll you'll hear about it eventually. So I don't even got to promote it. Like that's not even cocky. Like I'm very confident in that, because just like you, Ronald, I want better for people. And it's like, do you know why I want better for people? It's because I'm selfish. I want better for me too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm with that. But the message that I really want to give to people is that to just learn, man. Learn. Um, this world it's not the happiest of places, but it's not the worst. You know, and being able to be aware of your surroundings and just be conscious of things in all ways will make you better, right? And you may not think you need better, but like you said, Ronald, we learn every day. We can learn from anybody. That's being better. It's just be open to accepting that there are people out there that know more than you. Learn from them. That's what I do. And it's what I see Orlando has done too. Orlando, like out here, he giving me props and I appreciate it. But this guy, like, that's your family, but I consider that to my family too. And I've seen just the confidence in you. It's like I've seen that grow, and it's like that's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? So it's like for me, I appreciate the kind of words, Ronald, but for me, seeing Orlando where he's at, that for me is like SVMRII works, right?
Facts.
And SVMRII works.
Shout out to Boris and shout out to Swimming for that. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So yeah, the IG is SVMRII, SVMRII. And shout out again to Chills because the world may not know him yet, but I'm telling you, I know my brother not just because he's my brother. It's like he doesn't stop, man. The way that like he's even evolved in his music, that dude is cool.
How does that
Yeah,
work? Can we actually like play his tunes? Like if we use it, can we like use his music on?
100%. It's under
Yeah,
SVMRII. Like, you guys are right. Yeah, go ahead.
that.
And that's the last thing, Ronald. Like, this is to the side. You need any help with any type of branding or things like that, you hit me up, bro. Of course.
Yo, it's been a great call. I think this is one of my favorite ones. It's
Yeah,
on my
I
top one.
appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
I
Yeah.
loved it, man. I'm happy you're doing great. I'm happy you're in a good place right now, and it's looking good, man. I'm happy. Just want to say that
Yo.
to you in your face. Yeah, not literally in your face, but virtually. We're together.
Right.
But yo, for real, man, it was a great podcast, and I was excited coming on, and bro, it was no homo.
Hey, yo. Hey, yo. Pause.
But yeah, it was, bro.
I was
But
excited
nah,
too, bro. I was
facts, man. I
excited
was
too.
really excited. It went great. I was really excited, and I'm just happy we did it, man. I got it done. We got it done.
No,
So
seriously, guys. Thank you very much for letting me speak. I very much appreciate it.
no doubt, man.
Cool.
Yeah, man, it's been awesome, and hopefully you come back and hear from you
Oh,
soon.
what you mean? I'll be here for
We
the part
definitely
two.
having him more times, bro, for sure.
Yeah. What you
We got to
mean?
do it. We got to do an Arizona trip.
Yo, that's another thing. I'm trying to set up a show for the guys too. It's not just my brother. We have other guys, under SVMRII, whatever, that do music. So I'm trying to do a show out here. So
I
I'll
kind of
let y'all.
wanted to talk to you and have maybe if your brother's interested, come on the show and see what's up. If he's
He would
down.
100%. He's actually setting up interviews right now with magazines to like get his stuff. Yeah,
That's
so
fire.
that'd be cool.
Look at him go, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm proud of that kid, man. Crazy.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Yo, again, appreciate it, guys. Thank you. All right.
Later,
Yo,
bro.
shout out to you again. How you again?
That's the
All
story.
right.
Good
All
luck,
right.
bro.
Later,
Thank you.
guys.
Later, bro.